This episode is proudly brought to you by California Cryobank, the #1 sperm bank in the U.S. Use code LOVEISLOVE for a free level 2 subscription to their donor catalog and start shopping now. Y'all, make those babies.
Love is love on the Queer Family Podcast. Love is love.
We're trying to stay up to date with the times, and things change, things evolve. We're learning more now that, these adults who are donor conceived didn't necessarily have a voice when they were 6, 8, 10 years old, and now they're adults and they do, and we're listening and we're hearing.
Yeah, which is important.
It's important. And I think you're right, Jaimie, like the stability of who and what California Cryobank was a huge component for us, but also the LGBTQ services that they think of and that they have thought of spoke volumes to us. I think that was something that was really important to us in our whole journey, finding a clinic and finding a doctor, everybody that was inclusive, and that I didn't want to be an outlier. I wanted to be part of the norm.
Welcome, y'all, to the Queer Family Podcast, the show all about family, but with gay. I'm Jaimie. I'm your gay host. And this is the show that celebrates, highlights, uplifts, and normalizes LGBTQIA plus families in all of our beautiful identities. And y'all, you're in for a treat because you are tuning into a little mini series we're doing that I've titled Nicole and Shannon Want a Baby, or Do They? Yes, because for the next 3 or 4 episodes for this little mini series, I am going in depth with my assistant, Nicole. Yes, the one I say, roll your tape, Nicole, that one. My assistant, Nicole, and her beautiful wife, Shannon, to see if they really, really do want a baby because they're still undecided. And then how would they go about it if they did decide to do it? So we're kind of covering all the bases in all of these episodes. Last week, we covered the adoption route with Becky Fawcett, who has an organization, Help Us Adopt, that gives funding to folks who are trying to adopt but who can't afford it. Amazing, amazing organization. And today, y'all, you're in for a treat because we are going deep with Sydney Sharon of California Cryobank. So we are exploring the large sperm bank option in today's episode, with which many of us used. And a lot of you know I'm biased because I used California Cryobank to make my babies, and I love them, and I am completely happy with my babies, obviously, but also everything that I got from California Cryobank and continue to get. So that's what we're doing today. It's a really great episode. We go into the pros and cons of using a big bank. And we talk about all the things that California Cryobank, who's been around for over 45 years, is doing and has been doing for the LGBTQIA plus community to make it inclusive, to really help our community. And y'all know I love an organization that walks the walk when it comes to our community. So I'm excited for you to hear this. I think it's a really great little conversation. And so I am not going to talk too much in this here intro because I want you to listen to the whole conversation with Nicole, Shannon, and Sydney and I. It's fun. Don't forget to follow me on social media. I am the Queer Family Podcast everywhere you can think of. And on YouTube too, you can watch these video episodes. And you can always, always, always support me on Patreon at patreon.com/The Queer Family Podcast. And you're going to get some bonus content over there, some behind the scenes of my wild life at home with these kiddos who drive me crazy, but that I love. And they also drive me crazy. And both of those things can be said, and both of those things can be true. So, all right, it's time to roll this tape. Let's get going. I hope you're enjoying this mini series, and I hope it's helping some of you who are undecided maybe get closer, maybe, to making a decision towards your path to parenthood. Because there's a lot of decisions to make when it comes to queer parenthood. And I'm happy to just be on these journeys with you. So without further ado, Nicole, Beulah, Jerson, please roll that tape. Let's go, baby.
Queer Family Podcast. Love is love.
Hi, Sydney.
Hi.
It's wonderful to have you. And hi, Nicole and Shannon.
Hello.
Hello.
It's always good to be back.
It's great to have you back. It's always fun chatting with you, I gotta say. We always have a good time. And I always have a good time also talking with Nicole and Shannon. And we are here for our fantastic mini-series where we are trying to figure out if Nicole and Shannon really want kids and how they would go about making them if they decide that they do. And so that is why Sydney, the lovely, beautiful Sydney, mother of 3, is here to chat with us. So, Sydney, without further ado, why don't you give us your 30-second elevator pitch of who you are and why you're here really talking to Nicole and Shannon, really, and me. On your mark, get set, go.
So I am the social media influencer manager program person for California Cryobank. California Cryobank is the #1 sperm bank in the US. And while our name may be misleading, we do ship to all 50 states and over 40 countries. I am also a proud California Cryobank mama myself. I have 3 donor-conceived children through the help of California Cryobank. And we're here to help people's goals of creating their family come to life.
Boom. Only slightly over, Sydney. Only slightly. And I know.
I couldn't see the time, and I just kind of kept dragging it out, and I realized I could have stopped, but
You could have stopped, but you know what you didn't mention? You actually were in an episode with your wife last June.
yes.
So if anybody wants to hear your like family building story, you were like pregnant during that. No, you had just had the baby. You had, I don't even remember.
It's
Everybody
always
has
one
to
of
go.
the 2. The last 6 years, it's always been one of the 2.
So we are in it. We are in the thick of it. And I
We're
only
in
have
it.
2 and you have 3. So everybody needs to go back to last June and listen to Sydney's episode, Sydney and Britt. It's a great episode. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Let's get into this. So Nicole and Shannon don't know if they want to have kids yet. And they don't know how they're going to go about it if they do. So today we are going to explore the large sperm bank route as opposed to the little boutique style sperm bank route that we explored in another episode. Sydney, can you talk to us? And you know what? The listeners really all know about California Cryobank because I talk about California Cryobank all
We
the
do
time.
love each other, don't we?
We do. And also because I made my babies through California Cryobank as well. And I do want to say that when I made my kiddos, my oldest is 10, when we started, there weren't that many other options on the table like there are now. Like there were no little anything. There was no, as far as I knew, there were no like boutique dating apps for finding known donors like there are now. It's not really what that is, but you know what I'm saying? Like there are fewer options. And it just seemed like if you were going to go the donor sperm option, you had a choice of like the big major banks.
Right.
And things have changed now. So that's why we have so many things to think about when we're going down these paths.
Well, so many things have changed, but I also like wonder where social media has kind of played a role in that and where people have been more open about documenting their stories and not just as same-sex couples, but as parents who are pursuing this on their own. I think we're also seeing a lot more light being shown and kind of we're trying to get rid of that stigma around male factor infertility. So I think a lot more people are sharing. And because more people are sharing, we're hearing about all these things that we may not have known otherwise, which I think is so beautiful and so needed. Before I even get into California Cryobank stuff, just on a personal note, I think this is such an important conversation to be having for any couple at any time. I think if you know you're with your person and you're both kind of like question marks, these are the kinds of conversations people say that you should have before you kind of know what the future holds. Because if people are on 2 separate pages at the end of this, that can be a really hard thing to navigate. I think it's really important to know what your options are and to also know that it's okay to not pursue parenthood. That's not in the cards for everybody. And that's not something you have to do, especially because you're a woman. That is not something you have to do. I knew that I wanted to be a mom since I was, Zoe's age, and Zoe's 15 months old. So this was always in the cards for me. This was part of my non-negotiables. And finding a sperm bank like California Cryobank was the easy part in my journey. And now that I work here, I really know why. It's because of how I think incredible and special this sperm bank is. We're not just a sperm bank. We're not just, hey, here's a vial, bye, good luck. We are here to really hold your hand as little or as much as you want. It is so customized and tailored to each family's experience. And I think that really kind of sets us apart. I think a lot of sperm banks now can, boast and say, we've been around for X amount of years or decades, and we do all of this amazing shipping to all these incredible places, and we all have highly screened donors. Kind of think that's the new norm. That's the now baseline for the sperm banks you go to. So how do you figure out what sperm bank is right for you? How do you differentiate, okay, I think we want to do this. Let's kind of unfold what each of these sperm banks offer and what feels right for you. Again, it's not just this transactional, here's a vial, we're more than that. We're here for preconception, we're here for conception, we're here for post-conception, and all of the services that we offer. So I kind of want to dive into that, but I also want to know if you guys have any questions so that I know that I can address that when I kind of explore more and take a deeper dive into California Cryobank.
There's so many questions. I don't know where to start.
Excellent.
I loved what you mentioned, Sydney, where it's so important to have these conversations ahead of time. And I feel like we get so stuck on like, do we even want kids, that we don't even dive into the part of like, so if we do want kids, how do we do it?
That's why I'm here.
Yes.
That's why Jaimie's here. That's why Sydney is here. I think
That's where I come in.
For me, I think a lot about even the ethics of bringing a child into this world. And I know that sounds like ludicrous, but that is really how I feel. So how do we, as a gay couple, what is the most ethical way to bring a child into this world? So for me, I would want to know, how is your company the most ethical, right? What do you do to ensure that the child does not have X amount of siblings or health issues or et cetera? So that's what I would want to focus on. And also you said like preconception and post-conception. I would also want to know like the details behind that as well, how you support us.
Totally. So look, if you're going to come to us and you're kind of like, we think we know this is the route we want to go, how do you even start looking at donors? As of today, we have the largest and most diverse donor catalog amongst the sperm banks. So you're looking at 350 plus profiles. It's a lot of information to absorb. How do you narrow that down? So you guys want to figure that on your own? Figure that out on your own. You guys want kind of some more guidance and structure and help and support? You call our client services team. They provide such a dedicated, customized experience. They will stay on the phone with you for, it's quick chat. You want to be on there for an hour.
Is that what you did, Jaimie?
I called. I called. I did.
This is one of those things where people actually like the customer service experience on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like a living, walking testament to, I would totally, if I hadn't have called, I'd be like, yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, I'm sure they're really nice. But I literally did call
and they are really nice.
I was actually really shocked at how helpful the person was. Mm-hmm. And I was like totally like apologetic. Like, I'm so sorry. This is such a dumb question. I have like the dumbest questions, but I have this question. She was like so supportive, so sweet.
Yeah.
Stayed on the phone with, I'm not making this up. This is not for like an ad or anything. I really did have a really nice conversation. We were literally between two donors and I was having a hard time deciding. She was like, I can't make the decision for you. I can't, I was like, well, I mean, can you though? Cause
it's a commitment. You're talking about the ethics of being able to choose and figure this out. And how do you ethically do this? I think first and foremost, it is a very personal choice. Mm-hmm. And so long as you guys are on the same page and you are making conscious choices to do what's best for your child, that's really all any parent, however you decide to have a child, that's all you can do. You provide them with love, you provide them with food, you provide them with, all that you can and all that you are. I hate to break this part to you because I'm still searching and I'm still in denial about this. There is no manual for how to raise children. Like none. I know Jaimie's a little bit further into her parenthood, but I'm 5.5 years. FedEx has not shown up with my manual. Nothing happened after I was born. Like, it is your choice and your choice alone as a couple to decide how you want to raise a child. So
yeah.
God, I wish that there was some kind of manual. That would be amazing. And there are, books and resources in support of like, how do you want to parent? But there's no real.
There's like too many of those. And
There
they're all
are
conflicting.
And they're all conflicting because there is no right way. There may be some wrong ways, but there's no right way to love your child. And I think as long as you have open, honest conversations, that's all any kid wants anyway, no matter how they were conceived, whether they were adopted, whether they, it's a heterosexual couple in the bedroom, like as long kids just, they're curious by nature. Human beings are curious by nature. So you want to get guidance on how to choose. The advice I was given was for my wife and I to each create our must-haves, must-not-haves, and everything else was kind of like a whatever for us. Like it wasn't a deal breaker. And then we kind of merged our lists together and we used the filters on the website. I think our filters are really extensive and kind of provide a lot of breadth and depth to our donors. We have an element on our site for our donors called Express Yourself. So some of our donors might provide like a handwritten recipe from their family, and that's food and cooking is really important to them. We have, donors who are writers and they'll submit a song that they wrote or a poem that they wrote. It just kind of provides all these different layers. And for each family, sometimes that's too much information. And for some, it's like, no, give me more. I want more. So again, we try to provide as much as we can to kind of provide this really comprehensive package of what you're looking for. And you pick and choose how much information you want. I think one of the most important things we get asked and one of the most important things people look at is our medical history, right? Like what you're saying about how are we choosing our donors? What kind of research are we doing? What's our process? And I can tell you that we have a very stringent process in place. What donors need to kind of go through every step of the way. There's a lot there. And I think because we have one of the most largest and diverse donor catalogs, we have donation sites all around the country to kind of represent all of our families who are located all over. Our medical histories are, I think, extensive. I don't know if I know that about my own family. We give the donor's medical history, like of him, any siblings that they have, the parents, the grandparents on both sides, and any aunts or uncles who are related by blood.
Wow. I didn't know that.
It's a lot of information and it's available on all of our donors. So you can look through medical histories and you kind of you get to know each other in a cool kind of way. I think, this was an opportunity for my wife and I to kind of have some special dates that most couples maybe don't get to have. For us, made it a part of our journey. But again, this was something we knew we wanted to start with. All of our donors as of 2018 are ID disclosure. So that means that when your child turns 18, if they want to get to know who their donor is, we help in facilitating that connection. So that is something we provide once your child turns 18, if that's something that they want. We also recently released a program called our Donor Reserve Program. So this is a select catalog of reserve donors. We only have a very limited number of vials available for purchase and have never sold their vials through California Cryobank prior. And we have two level types. And the difference between the two is the number of family units each of these donors have available. So we have one that's exclusive. So it's essentially you buy the donor vials outright and it's reserved just for you and your family. And the other one, I forget the limits, but it's something about 2 to 10 family units are available to purchase. So we're doing our best to now cater to this next level of understanding and learnings that we're getting from the donor conceived community and being able to offer that more limited family purchasing max. So I think those are kind of answer a lot of the questions you had. That's kind of the preconception stuff.
I think there's a big fear out there with donor sperm, especially at the big banks. And that's what you hear all the time. Oh my God, what if your kid has 50 siblings? What if your kid,
That's a big fear of mine.
Is it?
Yes, it genuinely is. You hear these horror stories. And I don't know if I would be comfortable with knowing that, I have children that have so many siblings out there and they don't get to know them. So I'm happy that, to hear that you will offer that option as well.
It's nice to know. And I want to just say, just as a mother who used a big sperm bank and who has really tried to find the siblings. I've only found, we don't have that many that I've found. But also, like, that's just to say, those are the ones who have reported it. And they're, you know, you don't, I mean, you should report it, but I guess not everybody does. We've heard that statistic. Those are the ones that wanted to be found. And it's really easy to find me because I talk about it on the podcast. I feel like if I'm going to be found, I'm going to be found. And we haven't found that many. I don't know what your experience, Sydney, is with the donor siblings personally.
You know, my personal story is multifaceted because my dad was a sperm donor, and I've connected with my bio siblings. And from what we know, there's 6 of them that have wanted to find out more and have made contact. And I'm very aware that I have these rosy colored glasses on. We have a very happily ever after kind of story. I'm also the recipient of donor sperm, and now I'm raising donor conceived children. And one of our post-conception services that, you know, I kind of alluded to was our sibling registry. So one of the things that California Cryobank offers is a private sibling registry just for California Cryobank families. It is completely optional. And it is a resource for people who want to connect with other families who use the same donor. My wife and I have connected with like 4 or 5 other families, and we're kind of close with some of them. It's, again, optional. So it's not comprehensive, but it is a start. For us, it's been a very special journey. You know, we've been able to help when they've run out of, you know, vials and they're still trying, and our donor is retired. There's no more vials left. It kind of creates this community of, you know, these families don't necessarily want to use a different donor. They will if they have to, but because we collectively have vials amongst us, we're able to help each other out. I think that's really kind of beautiful. I think that's one of our kind of more special traits and qualities that we have, that, you know, it's a free service just for our families. It's a place for you to really connect and share and bond. And look, like with any family, whether you're family by blood or family by choice, again, you kind of get to say who's in that core and who's in your child's life. Friends come and go, families come and go. Ultimately, this is you building your family and what's important to you. And there are so many factors being a parent that you know, you can plan for and that you can wish and want. And ultimately, life is going to kind of unfold however it does. And to really kind of know at your core that you two have done all that you can do and you can provide, I think is what's the most important. And again, having all of our donors be ID disclosure since 2018, I think that also kind of helps facilitate, you know, anonymity is a thing of the past. And with things like 23andMe and Ancestry, you know, .com, we know that we want to protect our families. We want to protect our sperm donors. We want to create this environment where people feel open and safe, and they really know and understand what they're getting into. All of our donors are screened, have a psychological screening. And it's not just like you walk in the door, are you okay? It's like, no, we really sit them down and say, look, you might get that hypothetical knock on your door one day. How do you feel about that? A lot of our donors, you know, are on the younger side. They're not married. They're not in these serious relationships. So really being able to talk that out and have these psychological evaluations of like, what happens in 5, 10, 15 years, you're married, you have kids of your own. How does that make you feel? I mean, we really take a deep dive into that psychological part, which I think is just as important as the medical. And that was something that personally drew me in. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I want to be protected and I want my kids to be protected. And I want to know that I'm getting the best quality in what I'm purchasing. But I also want to know that the sperm donors are being taken care of and thought of too. I think that dichotomy is really important in a sperm bank, especially something as large as California Cryobank.
You know, I'm thinking about just me and Anne's decision to go with the sperm bank in the end. And we were between using our friend as a known donor. We hadn't asked him yet, but we were like, yeah, we're going to use we were between using Stefan and or going with an anonymous sperm donor ID disclosure at California Cryobank because our friends had used that bank. You know what I mean? In the end, for us, it came down to like it was a decision between having another family in our life. How do I explain what I'm trying to say? If we were to bring a known donor in, we bring in so many variables that we would not be in control of, right? Stefan Stefan's family, who he was very close to, and the involvement, and then all the things you have to go through and the paperwork you have to make up and like all the legal that has to go with this known donor situation and there was no boutique that could help us with that at the time, and then the no donor, we could just decide right then and there, okay, this, he's anonymous. We know this information. They can contact him at 18. It's like so clear and dry for us. And that was like really appealing to us. We were in control of everything and we didn't have to weigh in with anybody else. And that's why we ended up choosing what we did. Yeah.
Whatever stories you're looking for, I believe you find. So if you're looking for kind of scary stories, you're going to find those scary stories. If you're finding empowering stories and really beautiful, happily ever after stories, those are the stories you're going to find. And there's just no magic ball to look in to say, how is this going to unfold? And I think aligned with you, Jaimie, what was really important because we looked at known donors, we looked at using our brothers for each other. I mean, there was a lot of things that we kind of looked into, and ultimately we kind of wanted the clean cut and dry version. I wanted to know that legally we were protected, and going through a sperm bank, you are. That was really important to me. Also, all of the vetting. Again, I don't know if I know that much medical history about my family, and I'm fortunate to have all of these people living still. Would I qualify to be a donor? I don't know. So the fact that these men have all of this information and it's readily available to you today. If you went to cryobank.com today and you created an account, you would have access to all of that today. And I think having all of that, knowing that California Cryobank, we've been around for 45 plus years. We know what we're doing. We've been doing it for so long, and we've been helping the LGBTQ community for so long. And again, personally, I think that was another really big factor for us. Some of the services that they provide to same-sex couples, if you need to do a second parent adoption, we provide that letter that your lawyer will request.
That's new.
Yeah.
And that's something that Britt and I have done. It was so easy. It was so quick. And it wasn't like I had to explain what it was or what we needed. The second I said second parent adoption, they said, yep, what's your account number? Who's your donor?
Wow.
And in 24 hours, I had that letter. And it's another free service that they provide for couples.
Oh, wait, sorry. On that, Sydney, to put it in context, I had to write the letters for my friends, because you have to get like 3 reference letters for second parent adoption. I don't even remember.
I think it varies per state. I'm in California. All we needed was the letter. I feel like it was either we needed X and it might have been those 2 to 3 references, or if we had something from the sperm bank, and going to the sperm bank was so easy.
Because I was going to say, I wrote the letters for my friends, because I don't want to tax them with writing a letter about how amazing we are and the intention we put into it. So then you're writing the letter. It's nice to just get one that's made for you. That takes one step off.
I think the other thing that I really liked for my wife and I, we both knew that we both wanted biological children, but my wife never wanted to carry. But we wanted to create embryos with her egg. So one of the other services that California Cryobank offers to our same-sex couples, or to couples who need to transfer the vials from one account to the other, we offer a free transfer. So for instance, if you connect with somebody in the sibling registry, you're obviously not family, but if they need a vial and you're willing to give it to them, that transfer does have a small fee attached to it. But for our same-sex couples, there is no fee. That fee is waived.
Wow.
So I feel like they are so thoughtful of,
That's really great.
and I mean, they really put a bunch of thought into all of their families and really kind of taking care of our community. And that to me speaks volumes. So I really like those kinds of elements. I think, again, with that post-conception part that I touched on earlier, we offer things like storage programs. So if you know that you guys want multiple children, or you don't know how long it's going to take, we all know that the world of fertility is unbiased and you don't know who's going to kind of get hit with that. Having access to storage plans, I think, is really invaluable. So you buy a certain number of vials with us, you get a certain number of storage for free.
Wow.
We have a vial buyback program. So we encourage our families, if you find a donor you love, to buy those vials, because there's no guarantee that he's going to be available when you want to come back for baby number 2 or 3 or whatever it is. So we do offer a vial buyback program. With California Cryobank, you have access to our other Cooper surgical products, like our PGT testing if you want to test your embryos. We have our Cord Blood Advantage program through our sister company, Cord Blood Registry. So when you're expecting and you've called to let us know that you're expecting, you get access to this awesome resource. You get processing, shipping, and your first year of storage completely free with newborn stem cell preservation, which is a whole other podcast and also equally awesome. And we took advantage of it, and it was seamless. It's a huge kind of peace of mind element that we kind of have banked. Donor items. So all of the things when you've chosen your donor, and you guys should really you should create an account because it's a free to create an account.
Love is love. Code.
Love is love.
We should use the promo code.
And you get access to our level 2 subscription. All of those things that you see on your donor, when you've chosen your donor, you get all of those items. So back in my day, 5 years ago, they used to send you this jump drive with all of the information, but we've advanced. So now it's all digital downloads. So you've chosen your donor, you've reported your pregnancy, you get to keep all of these
that's cool.
donor items that you can save for your child.
That's
That's how
You need a folder?
mine is no, they sent me a folder. Like that's because
10 years ago, they sent you a folder.
it's a
I
folder.
was
We
like,
still have
I
it.
should totally, ours is in a Dropbox.
No, it's like a folder. It says it's a California Cryobank folder. You open it up and it has his essay and it has his
Oh,
pictures
wow.
and it
Oh,
has.
I kind of really love that.
And we like it because it's in our file cabinet. And so anytime the kids ask about the donor, I'm like, well, let me go get the folder. And I sit
Jaimie,
it.
I love that. I think we should. Britt and I are going to go do that this weekend.
I'm sure you can print everything out from
everything's printable. It's all high quality digital downloads. Kind of love the idea of creating like a little memo scrapbook that's like a book for my children to have now.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Love that.
Well, that was all Cali Cryo. I didn't do it. It just got mailed to us.
Listen, it's now all digital. I loved my jump drive. I have my jump drive saved somewhere, but now I also have access to all the digital downloads. You get the donor's health. You get, my donor had SAT scores and I'm like, oh my God, this is so much information.
Did it ever feel like too much information for either of you?
It's interesting. Look, as the person behind California Cryobank's influencer program, I really should keep track. I have no idea how many dozens of families I have met in the last 3 years. Every person is so different how they approach finding a donor. I had a mom tell me that all she wanted to do, this is so appropriate for the show. All she wanted to do was listen to the audio recordings, like a podcast, and see, who would I want to talk with more? Who would I want to go grab a coffee with and chat with more? How brilliant is that?
That's really cool.
I have talked to numerous people who ruled donors out because of their voices. Like numerous people. They were like, they had like it narrowed down to like 3 and they were like, all right, now we're going to listen to their voices. And then it was like, oh God, no, absolutely not. Like as soon as they heard the guy's voice, which is so funny. I don't know.
Our donors sounded sexy and I don't know how that's a thing, but it's a thing. I've had people say that the express yourself element is exactly what set us apart and had them choose California Cryobank.
I love the express yourself.
I've also had people say it was too much. I didn't want that information and they didn't click on it. It's such a unique journey. And again, there's no right way to do it. It's just whatever's right for you. Mm-hmm. And we will find you that donor. We will find you that right match. And if you start doing it one way and you're like, here's what doesn't work. You don't know what you don't know until you start. Mm-hmm. And it's also okay to kind of pivot and go, wait, I thought this was a must-have. I now don't want that. This is kind of more of what I want. It's so unique. And I think that's what's so beautiful about this community. We offer community building and support. So if you choose a donor and you join our sibling registry and you have other families in there, that's an element of your community support. And you can talk with not just other California Cryobank families, but other California Cryobank families who used your donor. We have these bulletin boards where you can go and post and you can share your own fertility story and where you're getting stopped or where you need more encouragement. I think our social media is a wonderful place to connect. And we have really incredible stories on there. We do IG Lives at least once a month where we typically feature a family who's used us, who kind of just want to share about their journey and what they did. And I think that really sheds light on all the different facets of building a family and what people look for. And from heterosexual couples to independent parents who are pursuing parenthood on their own to same-sex couples, it really You see everybody on our social media. You see everybody on our website. It's a really beautiful journey. And I don't think I can underline enough how unique it will be for the two of you. Nobody's done it the way you guys have done it because we've never had Nicole and Shannon do this before. So once you guys figure out that journey, we're here to customize it so that you have all of those resources.
We'll be right back.
Queer Family Podcast.
Y'all, sorry to interrupt, but obviously with all this talk of sperm and buying sperm and promo codes, obviously I have to come in and talk for a second about California Cryobank and how they are sponsoring this here episode. Listen, they didn't have to sponsor this episode. They didn't have to do that at all. This was free advertising for them, but they did it anyway because, like I keep saying, they are showing up for the LGBTQIA plus community, and they have been for a very, very long time. Like I said in the episode for this week, they offer second parent adoption letter for same-sex couples who need them. They offer free vial transfers between partners. So if you want to switch which partner is going to carry throughout your process, you can do that with California Cryobank. And they do so much more. They really, really do take into account the things that the donor-conceived community of today says, and they adapt. And I love them for it. And I love my babies who are made at California Cryobank. I am so, so happy to partner with California Cryobank and to be a part of this family here. And also, as Sydney has said in this episode herself, it doesn't hurt just to use that code and go shopping. Get in there, use code LOVEISLOVE, start looking around, see what you see. It's not a commitment, but you get a free account. You can check out what they got, and you might find your perfect match, but no pressure. Just go check it out. Go shopping. If this is something you're really thinking about, might as well go shopping right now. So go to cryobank.com, use code LOVEISLOVE, and let's make those babies, or not, up to you. Back to the show. Thanks so much.
Love is love.
I'm wondering.
You're taking deep breaths.
I know. 'Cause I'm thinking. So once you decide that you want to pursue with California Cryobank, what is that process? What does that look like?
Girl, then we go shopping because I am here. I am ready. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, but I'm not.
Jaimie has all of the decorations already in the closet, and she's going to throw a sperm donor choosing party for you guys.
That sounds a lot of fun. So if you do want to throw that party, that
fun.
sounds really fun.
That's a fun idea.
There's a lot of people that do that.
I saw it on Vanderpump Rules. What's her name?
Yes, you did.
I've seen the TikToks. I've seen the Instagram videos. Yeah, they're very cute. That's sweet.
And she's not the only one. There's a lot of people who've chosen to do it that way. There's a lot of couples who want to do it by themselves. There's a lot of people. I mean, there's no wrong way. You choose you want to go to California Cryobank. Even if you haven't chosen yet, my recommendation would be to create an account because it's free to create an account. I hear a birdie's told me that Jaimie has some promo codes that you can use to get a free level 2 subscription.
Love is love.
And you just start perusing and looking. And if you guys feel like you've found a groove and you can do it, great. If you guys kind of keep butting heads or you kind of have concerns or you just want outside opinions that maybe aren't family or friends and can kind of provide more of an objective approach, you call California Cryobank and our dedicated customer services team is going to be there for you. Mm-hmm. You want to involve parents and aunts and uncles and sisters and cousins and Jaimie, then you do that.
Nicole's absolutely.
I'm looking at your family.
Jaimie gets her own category.
Jaimie gets her own category.
I've already shopped donors for you too. I'm ready. Let's go. What you can also do with a sperm bank like this is you can do at-home insemination.
Yep.
As well.
Yep.
And then you would have to do all the research to find out how to do that, and maybe
Yep.
work with a midwife. But so there are options with that. But whoever you get to help you, the problem is you're just going to need a little bit of assistance along the way because you got 2 uteri and you're buying some sperm. But
yeah, we have vials for at-home insemination. We have vials for IUI. We have a few different vials for IVF. I've tried all 3 methods.
Oh, I haven't tried at home.
We tried at home once, and when it didn't take, I have PCOS, and I realized I I need to cut my losses, and I personally needed the medical support, and that worked. But it was kind of cool trying at home once.
I want to try it. And it's like my ship has sailed, but I still want to try it. Like, why?
You can always try without the sperm.
I do that all the time.
I think that's called a date night.
We're moms, we don't get them as often, but it happens every once in a while.
Yeah.
No babies though.
But you get to create your own. I don't know. It's just a really kind of beautiful and cool thing. You talk to your medical healthcare provider. You talk to California Cryobank. You kind of pick the pieces and build your own puzzle. It's so custom to you. It's so unique to you. And there's no right way. There's no wrong way. It's whatever's your way. And I think I think what sets us apart is we're really here to help facilitate whatever that is.
It sounds like the number of donor siblings is an important factor for the two of you, right? So that's something that I would suggest, getting down and nitty gritty with it together and figuring out like, what are we really the most comfortable with when it comes to the possibility of finding out that there are multiples, as opposed to knowing that there's only one other family or two other families or whatever. If that's an important thing, there are options there, which is beautiful. Yeah. You just have to decide what you're most comfortable.
And just to quickly piggyback off of that, because our donor reserve program is very special, but there is a price point that comes with that. And I think that the other thing that we've also done, and not just for the donor reserve program, but if you're a California Cryobank family, is we offer financial support. So we have financing options, we have financial plans. And I think that that's really there to kind of help and aid our families who are whatever it is that they're looking for, whatever path they're looking for. We offer a premium service. We want to be able to provide you all of these other things that I've listed, like our sibling registry and cord blood advantage program and storage programs and our donor health and donor connection and facilitations and all of these wonderful things. We want to be able to keep providing and growing on those services. So we also know that, that comes with the price point. How can we help our families? So I think that our financial plans and financing options are really there to kind of help make those dreams come true and be able to take into consideration every family's unique needs or wants and wishes.
You know what I just thought of right now? We're meeting with our financial advisor this afternoon too, so we can always bring this up with her.
Oh my God. So you're going to need such and such amount of money for some sperm.
Yeah. But I think, God, you guys, I feel like you guys are so ahead of the curve, which is just so exciting. I think one of the things that I've kind of seen with our community, and I'm talking about our same-sex couples, when you get together and family is an option in the future, from day one that you're going to need this if you want a family this way. Like you already know that there's going to be some sort of financial element to building your family. And, for my wife and I, we were together for a hot minute. And when we decided to get married, we didn't create a honeymoon fund. We didn't create a down payment fund. We created a future family fund that people can give. But we did that years before we were ready to have kids because we knew that we would eventually get to this day and we would need money for sperm. We would need money for our inseminations or whatever procedure we chose to go with. And I think to be able to have the conversation you guys are having right now, adding in that financial element, I think is so important. I've worked with a few families who this was a very important part of their marriage and their relationship was all this financial planning, because this is an element. This is not a surprise. This isn't like you get to any sperm bank and you're like, whoa, I have to pay for that. Like everybody kind of knows you get to the fertility journey and there's going to be some dollar signs behind that. And I think to know that ahead of time and to do what you can to prepare, but then to also know that we're here to help also. So we want to help however we can. And whether that's our storage programs or our financing options, we do our best to kind of really provide this comprehensive and holistic and full service products and capabilities for all of our families.
There's options. And I'll say it again. That's why us queers are the most intentional parents out there. Come on now. Come on. Look at us. Look at you having this discussion right now. I mean,
true.
I mean, all these talks we're having, this is like, it's a lot. You're thinking through every single thing. And that's why, we're the best parents out there. I didn't say that. But there's one more thing I want to mention too. And I don't know if this is just something that kind of happened. I just want to talk about, I don't know like how commonplace this is with California Cryobank, but when I went through all the 3 years of infertility and we had a lot of snafus along the way and we ran out of sperm, and I still wasn't pregnant. And that's when we decided to reach out to donor siblings because we already had our daughter. She was 2 at the time. So that's when we decided to find these donor siblings so that we could see if anybody had sperm. Nobody had any sperm to spare. And we only found like 3 families. And then we called the sperm bank and explained our conundrum. And they told us that, we can see if he can come out of retirement for you since you already have a child with him. And they were really sweet about it. It wasn't like, you think of customer service and you think they're going to be rude. And it was like, you totally deserve this. And yes, we will reach out and here's how it goes. It was really nice. And then he ended up coming out of retirement for us, which just like solidified that I picked like a really wonderful person, because of my judge of character. And
Jaimie, we need to feature you on our social. Why have I not done that?
Well, I did the live once.
Okay, well, we need to do another live and then we need to get you into our feed because that's
a great story.
Obviously. I don't know if I've personally heard of I know that the stories are there more on our customer service side, but I think it's really important to know that once you've conceived with us and you have a child, if you've run out of sperm, the donor sibling registry is a really great resource to go to. We also do have a select amount of vials for our retired donors specifically for siblings. Oh. And if we're completely sold out, that is an option that we will try to ask the donor if they'll come back because a family already has, a child or children and they're looking for more, but they want to stay within the same donor. You're right, Jaimie, that is another service that we offer.
Yeah. And it worked out for me. And he came back and I got my baby finally and it worked. And they have the same donor, which mattered to me at the time. And I don't know how much it really matters in the grand scheme of things because, things work out the way they work. But at the time that really mattered to me. And I was going through so much with the infertility and it was so hard that being able to just have that be an easy thing was super helpful.
And I think like you said, Jaimie, these aren't weird one-off questions that our customer service team hears. These are daily conversations and they are so on your side and we are all so rooting for our families. We don't want this to be transactional. So much of donor conception is, you have to make an appointment and you have to take medication and you have to inject yourself and you have to time things. And, where's the romance in it? Where's the love in it? Where is that affinity for just kind of having fun and enjoying yourself in that process? And I think California Cryobank really does go above and beyond for making sure that we can kind of take away as much of those pressures or worries as we can. Obviously, things still come up and, if I had a magic wand, man, infertility would be the first thing I would wave it at because that would be my magic wand.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. If you want a known donor though, then sperm bank like this isn't the choice, and I don't know. There's so many factors. But for me personally, it was, and this is a personal thing and you take it with a grain of salt because this is just my opinion. For me, it's also knowing that this bank has been around for a really long time and they're trusted and it's not going to go under anytime soon. Like you hear about those adoption agencies that go under like while you're in the process of trying to adopt and, knowing that California Cryobank is going nowhere and has been trusted for a long time by many was comforting to me, but it might not be comforting. That might not be the thing everybody wants, so lots of things to think about. God, there's so many things to think about. I'm so glad I'm done.
Was there ever a piece for either one of you where you were like, I know you both love your kids, but was there ever a piece?
Sometimes.
I have to preface with that. Was there ever a piece for either of you that or that you missed just time with your wives? Like, was that anything that you considered when you were thinking about having kids? About how things would shift?
Like the time? Oh,
beforehand?
Absolutely.
Yeah, before. Because that's one factor when we speak about having kids. We love spending time with each other. What's that smile?
No, I'm smiling because this week there have been several. Right, we're talking about having kids if we want them and how we would do it. And there's been several times this week. I'm just going to be honest. Nicole has walked by children and been like, "Ew!" Like, oh my god. I'm sure.
I haven't told you this, Jaimie.
The amount of times I have heard people say. Yeah.
Oh my God.
The amount of times I have heard people say, I was never a kid person until I had my own.
Wow. Yeah.
If I had $1 for every time I heard that. So there is something about creating your own family, I think.
Family.
But also they're going to drive you fucking crazy too. Sorry, it's true.
I didn't know if we were allowed to say things like that here.
Listen, when it comes to parenting, it's no holds barred. It's hard and they're going to drive you crazy. And I look at them and go, ew, my own kids, because they're dirty.
I have caught poop in my hands from each of my children.
Thank you.
Parenthood is not glamorous. It is so rich in love and like a love. I don't know how to describe this love. I love Britt unconditionally. And man, the children that we've created, like they are extensions of us. I think for me, look, parenthood is hard. Okay. Sleepless nights. You got to feed them every day. Like it's a lot.
Yeah.
And there is nothing I wouldn't do for them.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't ever go back.
I want another one. Like,
I would have another one too. But I can't. I don't actually. I say that, and then I really think about it, and it's so freaking hard. At the same time, it is so hard. And at the same time, being pregnant
is a lot of work, and birth is a lot of work, and recovering from birth, and raising a newborn. And again, you could take all the classes until you're blue in the face, but like until you hold a brand new baby that your body made, which is like. You know, they talk about it being the miracle of life. Yeah. Once you've done it, you're like, oh my God, how did my body know to do this?
And then you look at them and you're like, dude, I can't believe I'm the parent in this situation right now. Like,
okay, but then again, you know, I get woken up way before their hatch turned green. They know to wait until their hatch turns green to wake mommy up. And I go into the kitchen and my daughter and my son are dancing to like ABBA and Spice Girls. And I'm like, oh my God, I did something right.
Oh. Yeah.
So like you also have those moments, and those moments for me always outshine the hard, and it takes a community. It really, you need a village.
It's hard. And and we don't have one here. Actually, my wife and I don't really have much of a community. Our families are not around to really help as much as we wish. And, you know, so it's taxing. It's very hard. At the same time, if I didn't know these little a-holes that I call my children, I can't even imagine. I can't imagine my life without these children. The love you feel for these children it's so scary and intense and real. And
a piece of you is living on the outside of you that you can't.
My guts are on the outside of my body now. How am I supposed to do this? Like, it's hard.
Yeah. You tell me that's scary for you.
I don't know if we're doing a good job of convincing you to make babies.
Like,
but I think, Jaimie, this is. Look, we can also have a whole other, I don't know how many episodes of talking about parenthood. I mean, we can talk until we're blue in the face. For me, it changed the dynamic of my relationship. We got married and everybody's like, oh my God, what changed? And I was like, my last name.
Nothing.
Like nothing changed. We had kids. The second my daughter took her first breath, it changed for us. And I wouldn't change that. We're just in a new chapter. It's a different chapter. Even before we had kids, you know, we started dating when we were 20. And then when we were 25, life looked different. And now we're in our 30s and life looks different. And, you know, that's kind of, I think for us, just the evolvement of time in our relationship, whether kids are there or not. It's just a different chapter.
Yeah, it's intense.
But you guys get to write it. You guys get to write your book and you guys get to say, and, you know, if you do consider using a sperm bank, we obviously hope you consider California Cryobank because we're here for you. And for as long as it takes for you to choose, we're here for you.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere. And also you can also just like hang out with my kids and like watch them instead. Like no problem. You can come be my community and watch.
Can we come stay in your apartment
kids. Did I say that
in New
already?
York? And you and Anne go away for the weekend and we'll watch the kids?
Oh my God, you could so do that. Like no problem.
You can come out to California and do that too.
Do that too. Could be a part of the series.
Come watch 3 children.
Yes.
3 kids and a dog. I got 2 kids and a dog. Let's just put them all together, and then we'll have a real TV show for you.
I love it.
I'm like, you got to make this decision for yourselves. And everybody who's a parent says, "Oh my God, I can't imagine my life without." But I don't know what my life would be like if I hadn't had these kids. So it's just hard. You never know. So there's so many options, and that's the beauty.
We're trying to stay up to date with the times, and things change, things evolve. We're learning more now that, these adults who are donor conceived didn't necessarily have a voice when they were 6, 8, 10 years old. And now they're adults and they do, and we're listening and we're hearing.
Yeah, which is important.
It's important. And I think you're right, Jaimie, like the stability of who and what California Cryobank is was a huge component for us, but also the LGBTQ services that they think of and that they have thought of spoke volumes to us. I think that was something that was really important to us in our whole journey, finding a clinic and finding a doctor, everybody that was inclusive, and that I didn't want to be an outlier. I wanted to be part of the norm. And I feel like I was part of the norm with California Cryobank.
Sydney, does your company help with finding providers within the process, or is that just on the couple to do that part?
It's more so that when you go to clinics, often clinics and fertility specialists will give you a list of preferred sperm banks, and we are on
the list.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Gotcha.
Right. Lots to think about here. And I can't wait to hear your guys' thoughts. Do you have any more questions for Sydney?
No, not from me. This is wonderful, Sydney. I think, to be transparent, when I pictured California Cryobank, I just pictured like this huge anonymous facility. I did not picture all these like extra facets that you guys offer to families. And I think that is so wonderful. And I'm really appreciative of that.
Yeah, we really want to humanize this experience, and there are real people on the other side of it. I think that's something that we hear a lot that people are surprised at. When you send a DM, it's not going into some corporate void. Like, I'm on the other side and Kaylin's on the other side, and we have real people who are also families of California Cryobank. So we're really here to not just talk the talk. We've walked the walk. We've been in your shoes, humanizing this experience and catering it also just to who you two are and what you two need is something that I think we do really well.
I kind of want to go searching just for fun.
Let's do it.
See some profiles.
Oh my God.
Do it.
Can I come with you? Okay, just let me know.
Cryobank.com.
We can schedule a Zoom, and we'll put our code in. Love is love. And we'll start shopping together. No problem. That'll be super fun. I'm here for you.
Do it.
Anytime.
I'm here for you. Oh. Our dedicated client services team is here for you.
But then what if we find our sperm donor?
Well, then I guess the universe is speaking loud.
Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This has been amazing. We need to let you go so you can get back to your very busy life. So I appreciate you immensely, and I appreciate you too, Nicole and Shannon, as well, for like going down this crazy path with me on the Queer Family Podcast.
Queer Family Podcast.
A huge thank you once again to my sponsor for this episode, California Cryobank. Use code LOVEISLOVE for a free level 2 subscription to their donor catalog. And then come tell me about it.
Love is love.
Whew. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed that episode as much as I enjoyed it. And if you did enjoy it, feel free to listen to another or watch another. I have so many episodes for your listening or viewing pleasure. Just go pick one and enjoy. There's a lot. There really is. And also, if you really do like this show, please, I know I say it all the time, but please do consider supporting the show on Patreon. You're just going to go to patreon.com/The Queer Family Podcast. You're going to pick a tier, you're going to join, and you're going to get that bonus content. And you're also going to get my love and adoration for the rest of my life. I love you all. Thanks for tuning in. Keep on tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Mwah.